Your life is out of control. You know it. Every day is a storm of bad decisions, pointless tasks, and crushing thoughts. And meanwhile, there you are, just watching everything slowly fall apart. Chaos is winning, and if you don't do something today, tomorrow will already be too late. Are you really going to keep letting disorder decide for you? Enough with the excuses. This video isn't here to entertain you. It's a warning. If you don't organize your life, chaos will tear it apart from the inside. Today I'm going to share 12 raw, firm Stoic lessons that have changed lives and can change yours, if you're willing to face yourself. Because yes, the problem is you. What you allow, what you delay, what you ignore. But the solution is also within you. The Stoics knew this. A mind without order is fertile ground for fear, anxiety, and destruction. Today, you're going to look in the mirror without lies. Today, you're taking back control. Or would you rather keep falling? Before we begin, let me tell you Nico's story. Because sometimes losing yourself is the only way to find what you've been avoiding for years. Nico was 33, and for quite a while, he'd felt like his life was a box full of things that didn't fit. He had dropped out of 3-degree programs. He had started 5 different projects. He had partners who told him, "I don't know what you want, but I'm not going to stick around waiting for you to figure it out." And he always said the same thing, "I'm in the process." But that process never ended. His room was full of half-read books, notebooks with unfinished goals, and plans for when I get clear. Only, clarity never came. Chaos wasn't a phase anymore. It was his default state. When his grandfather passed away, he inherited an old, enormous house full of dust and memories. Nico thought moving in would be a fresh start. He told everyone, "I'm going to find myself. I'm going to get organized, this time for real." But as soon as he walked in, he realized the house had the same problem he did. It was full of locked rooms, of corners no one had dared to touch. That first month, he tried to clean everything with no order, no plan. He just wandered from room to room, moving things around, opening boxes, building more chaos. He kept telling himself he'd start properly on Monday, but Monday never came. Just more days, more frustration, more exhaustion, more silence. Until one early morning after a week of poor sleep, he woke up disoriented. He stepped out of his room to get some water and ended up in a room he didn't remember ever seeing. The door slammed shut behind him. He was trapped. No lights, no phone, no clock, just him and the echo of his own breath. And there, in the darkness, something unexpected happened. For the first time in a long while, he couldn't distract himself with anything. No new tabs to open, no scrolling, no excuses to chase. It was just him, sitting on the floor, feeling the full weight of everything he'd been putting off crash down on him. That's when he understood. It wasn't the house that was a mess. It was him. His life was full of doors left open, never crossed, of choices avoided, of relationships left hanging with a "we'll see." And the hardest truth of all, he had spent years decorating his chaos just to avoid facing it. When he finally got out, yes, he managed to open the door after hours, he didn't feel relief. He felt shame, but also a new kind of clarity. He couldn't keep living like that. That afternoon, buried in one of his grandfather's old toolboxes, he found a notebook with a single phrase underlined again and again. "Don't waste what's left of your life on speculation. Focus on putting your own soul in order." It was from Marcus Aurelius, and then it all clicked. He didn't need one more attempt to start over. He needed to decide, pick a direction, take action, even without having it all figured out. Because if he didn't bring order inside, life on the outside would keep mirroring the same maze. From that day on, Nico didn't change everything overnight. But he did the bravest thing. He started closing doors, saying, "This ends here." Organizing not the house, but his focus, his energy, his time. And every day before doing anything else, he asked himself, "Today, am I going to hide from the chaos or face it?" Today, he still lives in that same house. But he's no longer trapped. He lives with direction. Because when you choose to look your chaos in the eye, order starts on its own. Before we go on, if this content is making you reflect, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to access material that can help you take control of your life. And tell us in the comments, what part of your life needs more order right now, even if it's hard to admit? Or just write, I'm a Stoic. Today I begin to bring order to my world from within. That will be your first step toward a life with direction, not one led by chance. 1. Wake up. This depends on you. How many times have you waited for someone to show up and fix your life? A mentor, a partner, a new boss, some kind of savior with magical solutions? Were you really expecting the superhero of order to swoop in, cape and all? Spoiler alert. That hero, my friend, is probably you. And no, you don't have a cape, but you've got something better. The power to wake up. Because here's the truth, and it hurts to admit, chaos doesn't vanish by magic. It vanishes when you decide to get up and start putting in order, step by step, the very things you've allowed to spiral out of control. Epictetus said it with clarity that cuts through centuries. It's not things that disturb us, but our judgment about them. In other words, it's not the external mess that breaks you inside, it's what you do with that mess. The way you react, or more accurately, the way you choose to do nothing. Because yes, a lot of the time you just stand there, waiting for everything to calm down on its own. But the only thing that passes is time. And with it, your energy, your clarity, your focus. Picture this. You wake up with your phone in your hand. You snooze the alarm 5 times. You're already late, but it's fine. Or so you tell yourself. Instead of getting out of bed, you spend 20 minutes watching short videos you won't remember. You head to the kitchen, half a coffee, no breakfast. Your inbox is exploding, but you still don't open it. There's one important email you should reply to, but you push it for later. The to-do list is the same as yesterday. Your clothes are still not folded. Your ideas still not acted on. And you, still waiting for that wave of clarity that never shows up. And the worst part isn't that you had a bad day. The worst part is that's your Tuesday, and your Wednesday, and your Thursday. Everything stays the same, not because life is cruel, but because you haven't done anything different. Waking up is on you. No one's going to shake your shoulders and force you to change. Like Luis Muñoz, psychologist and host of the podcast Understand Your Mind, says, everything starts when you take emotional responsibility. You're probably asking, what does that even mean? It means stop blaming everything out there and start looking in here. It means realizing that even when you do nothing, you're already making a choice. Every time you procrastinate, stay silent, or give up, you're choosing to keep the chaos instead of facing it. And do you want to wake up but don't know where to start? You don't need a 10-step plan or a color-coded digital calendar. You only need 3 moves. First, put your alarm far from the bed. Make sure you can't turn it off without standing up. It might sound silly, but that first physical movement breaks the inertia of chaos. You're already telling yourself, today I move. Today, I won't let the day drag me around. Second, before you even look at your phone, write down 3 things that actually depend on you today. Here are some ideas if you're stuck. One could be, today I cook my own meal. Another, today I read something that inspires me for 20 minutes. And another, today I take that shirt from the pile and put it where it belongs. Small, but they're yours. And if that's too hard, then write just this. Today I breathe without looking at my phone for half an hour. What matters is that you choose it, not the chaos. At the end of the day, stand in front of the mirror for just a second and ask yourself out loud, what did I do today that was a decision, my decision, and not just an automatic reaction? If you can name even one thing, you've already started building order. If not, don't blame yourself, but don't let tomorrow catch you the same way. Like the quote says, becoming aware of your power to choose is the first step toward change. And that line, my friend, is the heart of everything we're talking about. Chaos doesn't disappear just because you want it gone. It disappears when you commit to order, when you drop the excuses and start moving, even if it's just an inch a day. This depends on you. 2. Your time reveals who you're becoming. Your schedule is like that playlist playing in the background all day. Sometimes you pick it carefully, but other times, you just hit play on whatever shows up first, and without even noticing, it starts shaping your mood, your rhythm, your focus, and even the person you're turning into. Because yes, even if you don't see it that way, your day-to-day is made up of small choices you repeat so often that they end up defining you. And of course, that mental playlist sneaks in tracks like viral distractions, last-minute emergencies. I'll just look for 5 minutes, and where did the day go without doing anything? Marcus Aurelius said it centuries ago. Don't act as if you were going to live 1,000 years, because every minute you let slip away doesn't come back. That's not a motivational quote. It's raw reality. Every minute is a seed you can plant to move forward, or a leak that quietly pulls you off track. And here's the trap. You don't even notice it. Chaos seeps into your routine the way background noise does. Soft, steady, almost uninvited. José Miguel Gaona, Spanish psychiatrist and host of the podcast The Secret Meeting, talks about this a lot. He insists we're unaware of the emotional impact our daily mental programming has. It's not just about stress. It's about how repeated disorder becomes a constant signal to your brain. This is normal. Gaona explains that when your routine is full of interruptions, sudden plan changes, constant screens, and zero intentionality, your nervous system goes into alert mode, and you don't even know it. And that alert mode wears you out, disconnects you, scatters you. Try this. Look back over your last 24 hours. How much time did you actually spend on things that truly matter to you? And how much on funny videos, unwanted notifications, or conversations you don't even remember? It happened to me once and it left me speechless. One Sunday afternoon, I checked my screen time report. I thought I'd see maybe 2 hours, 3 tops. You know what it said? 6.5 hours in just one day. But the worst part wasn't the number. It was seeing what I'd spent it on. An hour and a half on social media, another on news, almost a whole hour on shopping apps. And what I actually wanted to do? I hadn't even started. The first thing I did was block certain apps after 30 minutes. Once I hit that limit, I can't open them again for the rest of the day. The surprise. I started focusing better. I felt less scattered, more present. I even slept better. Because your mind, like your home, needs quiet to get organized. So try it, seriously, even just out of curiosity. Because once you start setting limits, you'll see how chaos gets nervous. Suddenly you're focused, doing more, and finishing the day without feeling drained. And if it doesn't work for you, no worries. Come to the comments and blame me. I'll take public responsibility for the experiment. You can also try this. Set phone-free zones during your day. For example, I have my breathing hour at midday. No notifications, no calls, no emails. Just a quiet meal, a walk, or even nothing at all. Trust me, that space becomes pure gold. And when a plan pops up that might pull you off track, stop and ask yourself, is this vital or viral? Do I want to do this because it matters, or because the moment is dragging me into it? Because not everything that shows up suddenly deserves a place in your day. My friend, your time is your canvas. Are you going to let others paint all over it? Disorder doesn't vanish on its own. It vanishes when you start making clear decisions and giving your day structure. Because when you don't choose, life chooses for you, and it almost never gets it right. Tell me in the comments, what useless or time-wasting activity are you going to cut from your day starting now? Your answer might give someone else in this community exactly the push they need. 3. Start and end your day with intention. Did you know that what you do first thing in the morning can change your whole day? It's not an exaggeration. It's like starting up a machine. If you give it the wrong command at the start, everything else goes off track. And it's the same at the end of the day. If you close out your day in a mess with noise, screens, and unfinished tasks spinning around in your head, chances are the next day will start the same way, or worse. And that's how chaos builds up, day after day, until your routine doesn't even belong to you anymore and you don't realize you stopped choosing how to live. And yes, my friend, If the first thing you grab in the morning is your phone, your brain's already gone partying without you. You're still in bed, and in just seconds you've been hit with 5 messages, 3 bad news stories, 2 reels, and 1 notification you don't even know why you got. There's no way to start your day with intention like that. Marcus Aurelius understood this, and that's why every morning he reminded himself of what he'd face out there. Selfish, ungrateful, chaotic people. He did it to avoid being caught off guard, so the day wouldn't surprise him. Because waking up isn't neutral, you either take the wheel or the noise does. And the same goes for how you end your day. How are you closing your nights? Because if you're falling asleep watching random videos with your phone still in hand, or replaying everything you didn't do and beating yourself up for it, you're planting seeds of anxiety for the next day. Picture this. You go to bed at midnight after jumping from app to app. You didn't do what you meant to. You're left with a weird feeling, like a dirty kind of exhaustion. And all you do is turn off the light, hoping sleep takes pity on you. But it doesn't. What comes instead is a racing mind that won't stop. You wake up late, and the cycle begins again. That's how a life without structure is built, minute by minute, starting with the smallest things. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you want to start building order in your life, start where it all begins, your mornings and your nights. First, when the alarm goes off, sit up for just a second and whisper to yourself, "There's a plan today." Say it even if you don't feel it. It's a reminder to your brain that you're not drifting. Second, before touching your phone, write down a 3-word intention for your morning. Something like calm, focus, presence, or determination, energy, gratitude. Write it down and read it out loud. Even if your day doesn't go perfectly, you're already aligning with something higher than chaos. And third, at night, before you shut everything down, take 1 minute to close your day with gratitude. Even if it's Monday and you spilled your coffee. If you don't know how to begin, here are some questions you can answer in your head or write down. What was the best part of my day? What small detail made me smile? What did I learn today, even in the middle of the chaos? Who surprised me with a kind gesture? Don't go to bed with noise. End with intention, even if it's just a single kind phrase to yourself. Because in the end, if you give your first and last minutes to chaos, you can't complain when chaos owns your day. Order begins the moment you decide to take the lead. And there's no moment more yours than when you open your eyes and when you close them. 4. Your environment gives you away. Does your room look like one of those before and after ads, except stuck in the before? Be honest. Sometimes you don't need to look inside your head to know something's off. All it takes is opening your bedroom door. If you're stepping over clothes on the floor, if there's a half-dried mug on your nightstand, and if your chair is buried under clothes you'll wear later, chances are there's no plan pulling your gaze upward. Literally. But the problem isn't just visual, it's mental. Because when your space is in chaos, your energy follows. Seneca would be tearing his hair out if he saw that desk of yours with 3 chargers, 6 pens that don't work, and a stack of papers covered in Post-its from 6 months ago. I don't know what his house looked like, but I do know his philosophy. Clean, direct, intentional. Poverty doesn't lie in a lack of possessions, but in disordered desire, he said. And if you think about it, the mess around you often comes from the same place. Accumulation without purpose. Things you keep just in case. Papers you avoid. Clothes you don't wear but won't get rid of. It's exactly what you do with emotions, decisions, relationships. You put it all off. And meanwhile, chaos settles in. I heard a story recently on the Magobio podcast about a woman who felt completely out of sync with herself. She couldn't concentrate, couldn't stay focused, couldn't finish anything. Every day felt like she was chasing time, like her life was just an endless to-do list that never got checked off. And instead of diving into therapy or making huge changes, they suggested something simple: organize her physical space. Just that. She started with the kitchen, threw out everything expired, cleaned the shelves, kept only the essentials. The next week, she did the same with her desk, and what seemed like nothing turned into a turning point. She started thinking more clearly, feeling less overwhelmed. Because yes, when you clean what's outside, you start to clear what's inside, without even realizing it. Now think about your desk. Can you work there without moving anything? Or do you have to shift things around to make space? Does it give you peace or anxiety? If the answer is anxiety, here's a challenge. Pick one small corner, your nightstand, your backpack, the drawer where you dump everything without looking. Empty it completely. Yes, I know. You're already thinking, ugh, what a chore. But remember, chaos won't leave on its own. Didn't you say you wanted your energy back? Then let's go, do it today. Leave only what's useful, what adds value, what makes you feel in control. Here's another quick challenge. Choose one piece of clothing you no longer wear, one that's just there out of habit, not need. Donate it. Don't look at it twice, just do it. That small choice isn't about fashion, it's about sending your brain a message. I decide what stays in my life. Now imagine this. Every morning you walk into your room and everything is in its place. Not perfect, not empty, but clear. No visual clutter, no extra weight. Know what you'd feel? Lightness. Because when you leave space outside, your mind can breathe too. It's a domino effect. Tidy one corner and you feel capable. Tidy another and you regain energy. Before you know it, you've changed the rhythm of your day. The first step isn't throwing everything away. It's keeping what actually adds something. What reminds you that yes, you can decide, you do have control, and chaos doesn't call the shots anymore. So if you're in, drop your commitment in the comments. Today, I clean my space. I organize my mind. Because that's where it all begins. 5. If you don't plan, you burn out. Imagine boarding a ship without a compass. At first, it sounds exciting, doesn't it? Sailing with no destination, letting the wind decide, living the adventure. But soon the sea gets rough, you lose track of time, you're not sure if you're going in circles or actually getting anywhere. And the worst part? You end up dizzy, drained, and unsure why. That's exactly what life without a plan feels like. It's not freedom, it's chaos dressed up as spontaneity. And yes, my friend, when chaos takes over and there's no clear direction, you don't just get lost, you shut down. Epictetus said it clearly. Men are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. And if we apply that here, the real distress doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from how you see your life when you don't know where it's headed, when there's no North Star. If everything feels chaotic, it's often because there's no clear meaning behind what you're doing. And that's usually because you haven't taken the time to plan it. Think about it. Picture a Saturday night. You have no plan for tomorrow. You open Instagram and it looks like everyone's doing something amazing. You switch apps, scroll through chats, laugh at a few memes, catch a motivational video that swears you'll change your life on Monday. And you, still holding your phone, sigh and say, tomorrow I really start. But you won't. Because without direction, tomorrow is just another copy of today. You don't need to plan your whole year or fill a notebook with over-the-top goals. Sometimes it's enough to pause and ask yourself what you want to build this week. Paul Perez, psychologist and educator, recommends starting with something simple and realistic. Not, I'm going to completely change my life. Something more honest, like, this week I'll wake up half an hour earlier to have some time for myself. Or I'll cook at home 3 days in a row. The point isn't how big it is, it's that it's doable, that you can actually follow through. Because every small goal you meet sends a message to your brain. I can move forward. Here's a powerful exercise. Write this question in your journal. Does this move me toward the me I want to be next year? Or does it keep me where I am? You don't need a long answer. Sometimes a simple yes or no is enough to guide better choices. And here's a trick that never fails, but most people skip. On Sunday afternoons, review your week like it's a menu. Too much work? No rest time? No space for yourself? Adjust it. A plan isn't just about productivity, it's about balance. If you need a free afternoon, schedule it. If you're overloaded, cut something out. It's not all about output. You need air too. Breaks, pauses, moments to recharge, because a good plan won't guarantee the perfect outcome, but it will stop you from feeling stuck and exhausted without knowing why. It's like having a rudder in the middle of the sea. Maybe there's a storm, maybe you won't take a straight path, but at least you know which direction you're rowing in. Chaos isn't solved with vague good intentions. It's solved with structure, with action, with real plans you can hold on to day by day. So tell me, are you going to keep drifting aimlessly, or will you start designing your course? 6. What are you planting in your mind? Have you ever ended the day with a brain that feels fried, like you've solved 100 problems, run a marathon, and written a thesis, but in reality, you barely did anything? Have you felt like you can't think clearly, that everything overwhelms you, that your mind just can't take anymore? What if I told you the problem isn't what you did, it's what you're letting into your head? My friend, it's not just about what you do, it's about what you consume, with your eyes, with your ears, with your attention. Epictetus said, "What belongs to others is not yours." That includes opinions, other people's conflicts, and all the noise you didn't ask for but still let in. Recently, psychiatrist Marian Rojas Estape said something that stuck with me. Taking care of what you let into your mind isn't a luxury, it's a basic need. And she's right, don't you think? Because every time you let your head fill with external noise, you're giving up space meant for what actually matters. Your thoughts, your calm, your focus. You've probably lived this. You say, just 5 minutes on Instagram, and suddenly an hour's gone. And not only did you not rest, now you feel even more anxious, more tired, more irritable. You saw 3 people traveling, 5 working out, 7 claiming life's never been better, and you, who just wanted a break, walk away feeling like you're falling behind. Your mind doesn't say it out loud, but inside it's screaming, "Ah, what is happening?" You lose your focus, you compare, you scatter, and the worst part, you don't even notice when it started. It happened to me with TikTok. I used it to unwind for 5 minutes, and which always turned into 40. One day I decided to delete it, just for a week. Nothing extreme. I replaced it with a light book, nothing too deep. Something I could read at night without overwhelming myself. By the 3rd day, I realized I was sleeping better. I was more patient. My mood shifted. And it wasn't because I got more done. It was because, finally, my mind had some quiet. So, do you want to take back control of your life? Here are 3 simple steps. First, clean up your social media. Yes, right now. Unfollow those accounts that fill your head with comparison, noise, or unnecessary drama. That influencer who makes you feel like you're never enough. That news page that tightens your chest. Cut it out. Clean break. Second, carve out screen-free space every day. Non-negotiable. It could be during lunch, 30 minutes before bed, or as soon as you get home. No phones, no screens, just you, your thoughts, and the present moment. Trust me, your nervous system will thank you. And third, set a simple rule. For every 10 minutes on social media, spend at least 5 doing something that actually nourishes your mind. Read a paragraph of a good book. Write down one idea. Look out the window and breathe. You don't have to live in a cave, but you do deserve moments that aren't constantly flooded with noise. Because behind every notification, there's not value. There's manipulation of your attention. You decide whether you keep planting noise or start growing clarity. And this isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing better. Now tell me in the comments, what are you going to stop consuming today to give your mind some space? We're here to support you, listen to you, and grow together. 7. If it doesn't add, don't let it mess up your life. Let me tell you something personal. There was a time when I tried to be the free therapist for 2 people. Always available, always listening, always trying to lift them up, even when I was barely holding it together myself. One time, after a particularly intense phone call, I hung up and just sat in silence. I couldn't figure out why I felt so awful. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept tossing and turning, my mind spinning with 1,000 thoughts that weren't even mine. And the next day I couldn't get anything done. My whole to-do list went untouched because I wasn't okay. I had completely drained myself. That's when it hit me. It wasn't my sadness. It was theirs. I was wearing it like it was mine. I had stepped into their emotional chaos and forgotten my own, until I repeated one sentence to myself like it was a law. If it doesn't add, at least don't let it mess up your life. Marcus Aurelius said it best. You must protect your mind more than anything else. And this was a man who was emperor, surrounded by conflict, decisions, and people with all kinds of agendas. But he knew that if he didn't protect his inner world, the outer one would crush him. You know how he did it? Writing, reflecting, stepping away from the noise, even in the middle of war. So no, I'm too busy isn't an excuse. Letting people into your inner space is a choice. My friend, surrounding yourself with people who scatter your focus is like trying to meditate on a construction site. Imagine getting a message from that person, the one who always complains. I just can't take it anymore. My boss hates me. My partner doesn't listen. Everyone lets me down. I'm always the one holding everything up. And you, just trying to take 5 minutes for yourself, get pulled into the storm. They ask for advice but don't listen. They tell you about their day but never ask about yours. And when you finally put the phone down, you feel guilty. Because, well, it's your brother, or your best friend, or someone who's always been there for you. So what do? Leave them hanging? Well, let me tell you what you can do, my friend. Because one thing's clear. If it doesn't add, at least don't let it unbalance you. This isn't about being cold. It's about protecting your balance. First, be honest about who makes you feel like you can't be yourself around them. If you have to weigh every word, if every conversation feels like walking through a minefield, take note. That's already a red flag. Second, start setting soft boundaries. You don't have to block anyone or cause drama. Sometimes it's enough to reply later, with fewer words, or steer the conversation in a lighter direction when it starts to weigh on you. And yes, you can stop justifying yourself. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. Third, nurture relationships that quietly inspire you. People who don't need your energy to stay afloat, who give, who lift you up, who make you laugh without even trying. Look for them, they're out there. And if you don't have any nearby, start by being that person for others. The kind of person who brings order, not chaos. Because here's the truth. If you keep letting others fill your mental space, don't complain when there's no room left for your own ideas, your own plans, your own calm. Sometimes, the best way to bring order to your life is to stop holding on to relationships that only survive because you're too scared to let go. And yes, I know, it's not easy. But you have to make yourself do it, because chaos doesn't get sorted out with nice words. It gets sorted by making uncomfortable decisions. 8. Your body needs structure too. What if I told you that all your mental chaos might actually be starting in your body? Yes, right there. Your body's been screaming at you for a while now that something's not right, but you keep ignoring it like it's just another annoying notification. Your hip cracks the moment you stand up. Your back cries out, "Ah, my lower back," even though you haven't done a thing, and supposedly, you rested. But no, you wake up more tired than when you went to bed. A tiny bit of effort drains you. You've got no energy to think, no will to move. And then you wonder why you feel unmotivated or unfocused. My friend, you're not unmotivated. You're dysregulated. And mental disorder often starts exactly there, in the way you're neglecting your body without even noticing. Are you one of those people who thinks 4 coffees will fix it? Hate to break it to you, but there's no such thing as mental clarity on 4 coffees, 2 hours of sleep, and 0 movement. That's like expecting a laptop to work with the charger unplugged and the screen cracked. It's not going to happen. And science backs this up. Nerea Sanchez, a psychologist specializing in somatization, puts it this way: what the mind doesn't manage, the body ends up expressing. In other words, all that stuff you're bottling up, avoiding or pushing down, it shows up as insomnia, migraines, muscle tension, or that constant fatigue that doesn't go away even after 10 hours of sleep. Because your body can't disconnect from what's going on inside. It's part of you. And if you abandon it, everything else falls apart. So my friend, want to start getting your balance back and bringing order to your mind? Then here's a simple suggestion. Tomorrow morning, the moment you wake up, walk for 10 minutes. No phone, no music, just you and your steps. It's not about exercise, it's about letting your body and mind reconnect. Because when you move, something inside you recenters. And yes, I know, it won't be easy at first, but you have to make yourself do it. Because mental order doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from movement. And here's another thing that will do wonders. Eat dinner earlier. Your body isn't built to handle heavy food at 11 at night. Do it as an act of respect. And go to bed at the same time every night. It doesn't matter if you feel super productive at 2 a.m. That's not real productivity. It's biological confusion. Your mind needs routine. Your body needs rhythm, not improvisation. Because when your body knows what to expect, your mind stops living in constant alert mode. Always remember this quote from Marcus Aurelius. The soul becomes dyed with the color of your thoughts. And your thoughts don't come from nowhere. They're born from your energy, your rest, your physical state. If you want clarity, you need to take care of what holds that clarity together. Your body isn't an accessory, it's your foundation. And without a strong foundation, the only thing that grows is chaos. So next time you feel like everything's falling apart, don't start by blaming yourself. Start by noticing how you're treating your body, because maybe the lack of order isn't in your plans, but in how you're physically trying to carry them out. 9. Your finances scream what you don't want to see. Do you ever feel scared to check your bank account, like it's a toxic ex? You know you're not going to like what you see, but there you are, hitting the button anyway, hoping the numbers have magically changed. And still, you keep spending like you're some kind of emotional millionaire. Like that overpriced coffee, that shirt you didn't need, or that food delivery is going to fix the emptiness you feel at the end of the day. The chaos in your mind shows up there too, in what you spend without thinking. Because, my friend, when there's no inner order, money becomes a fast track to cover emotions you don't know how to face. Epictetus said it clearly. Wealth consists much more in enjoyment than in possession. And if you really think about it, a lot of the time you don't even enjoy what you buy. You just use it as an excuse to avoid feeling bad. Picture this. It's Friday, payday. You tell yourself you deserve a reward. You've worked hard. So here we go, dinner out, some new clothes, a few beers, a little treat here and there. But then Monday comes, and with it, anxiety. You open your banking app and, surprise, you're in the red. Again. And this isn't just about money, it's a sign that chaos is sitting on the throne of your mind. So what happens? You live in survival mode. Obviously. Now this isn't about guilt. I get it. Most of us were never taught how to manage our money. No one explained how our emotions influence every single cent we spend. So today, I want to talk to you about something you can learn. Emotional financial intelligence. Don't worry. You don't have to invest in the stock market or open a Swiss account. It's about understanding why you spend the way you do, and using that awareness to bring order into your life. Here's your first step. Track everything you spend for 1 week. Everything, even if it's embarrassing. And most importantly, track the emotion behind it. That, I deserve this coffee at 5 p.m. That, I need something sweet moment on Sunday. That, I'm ordering food because I can't deal with cooking excuse. Write it all down, no filters. Then at the end of the week, read it like it's someone else's story. You'll see patterns you never noticed before. Next, ask yourself this one key question every time you're about to buy something. Do I really need this, or am I just trying not to feel bad today? Be honest, because if the answer is the second one, what you really need isn't in the purchase. It's in listening to yourself. And finally, set up a conscious self-care budget. This isn't about not spending, it's about spending intentionally. If you want to treat yourself, great, but let it be a decision, not an impulse. Choose a portion of your income for enjoyment, care, and personal growth. and honor it like a promise to yourself. Because in the end, it's not money that gives you freedom, it's how you use it. When you bring order to your finances, your mind breathes. Chaos steps down, clarity shows up, and suddenly you're building from a much more solid place. So tell me, what financial habits are you willing to change starting today? Drop it in the comments. No one's judging you here. On the contrary, we're growing together. And if you want to lock in your commitment, you know what to write. I'm a Stoic. Today I choose to spend with intention. 10. Technology isn't going to slow down for you. If you check your phone more often than your own reflection, we've got a problem. And no, I'm not exaggerating. You know the color of every app icon by heart, but you can't remember the last time you looked out a window without a screen in front of you. Your screen isn't your partner, even if you sleep with it, even if it's the first thing you touch when you wake up and the last thing you hold before you sleep. And here's what happens when you don't draw a line. Technology starts making your decisions for you. And without even realizing it, your attention, your time, and even your peace stop being yours. Marcus Aurelius made it clear. The perfection of character is this: to live each day as if it were your last without apathy or distraction. Now tell me, how are you supposed to live with intention if your first reflex every morning is Instagram, then WhatsApp, then TikTok, and before you know it, half an hour has vanished before you've done anything that matters? You're handing over the most precious thing you have, your attention, to whoever screams loudest. And when your attention isn't yours, your life starts spinning to someone else's rhythm. That, my friend, is not a life in order. That's a life on autopilot. On the podcast Understand Your Mind, there's an episode about digital disconnection that hits the nail on the head. It's not enough to just use your phone less. We need to actually stop, because the brain needs silence to think, to create, to find meaning. And I don't mean that in some mystical way. I mean it literally. If you stay surrounded by screens, pings, and infinite scrolling, chaos will keep driving your life. So here's a different kind of challenge. We've already talked about blocking apps and setting screen limits. But now I want you to go one step further. Do a digital retreat. No, you don't need to fly off to the Himalayas. You can do it at home for just one day, but do it right. Turn your phone off completely. Tell whoever you need to tell in advance and then disappear, digitally. That's right. No social media, no messages, no videos. Just you and your real life. Spend that time walking, reading, writing, cooking slowly, even getting bored. Because in boredom, that's where clarity begins. And if it's tough for you, make it fun. Rename your phone to Time Thief in your contacts, so every time you unlock it, read it out loud. Time Thief, you again. Look at it with suspicion. Because let's be honest, you treat it like an ally, but a lot of the time it's acting like your enemy. When you start reclaiming your attention, everything shifts. It's not just that you have more time, you have more energy, more focus, more connection with yourself. And that shows up in your inner order. Because now, you're not reacting like a robot to every buzz. You're choosing from a place of calm, from what you want. And that's when chaos starts to back off. Always remember this. If you don't master your technology, someone else will master your attention. And your attention is the front door to your mind. So, are you brave enough to do that digital retreat? Force yourself to disconnect, even if it's just once. Because if you don't organize your mind, the screens will do it for you, and they won't be gentle about it. 11. Don't give up because of one bad day. Sometimes we believe that everything falls apart after one misstep, that if today went wrong, then nothing else matters. But let me share something I heard a while ago. One of those stories that sticks with you, because without realizing it, it's about you. They say there was a man who walked every morning to the nearest well carrying 2 clay jars, one hanging from each end of a pole. One of them was perfect. The other had a crack, so it leaked water along the way. For years, the cracked jar felt useless. It would return home half full while its flawless twin always arrived brimming with pride. One day, tired of its own frustration, the cracked jar said to the man, "I'm sorry, I can't give you what the other jar does. I'm a failure." And the man, with a calm smile, replied, "Do you see the path lined with flowers? They only grow on your side. All these years, the water you've lost has made them bloom. Thanks to you, the path is full of life. Do you see it now? That's how bad days work. They don't ruin everything. They water the parts of you that haven't bloomed yet. What feels like loss today might be feeding something you can't even see yet. But, my friend, you have to make yourself keep going. Because as Molo Sebrian says in his podcast, Understand Your Mind, mental rigidity doesn't survive life. Flexibility does. It's not about perfect days. It's about the ability to come back, even if you've got less energy, even if your feet are dragging. Marcus Aurelius put it in words that still resonate. The perfection of character is to live each day as if it were your last, without apathy or pretense. Because once you understand that, you realize true order isn't a flawless routine. It's your decision to return to the path after chaos hits. And I know this will sound familiar. You start the week with motivation. Monday strong, Tuesday flawless, healthy meals, tasks done, everything in order. Then Thursday hits, you sleep badly, you forget to prep your meals, you eat whatever's around, you skip your workout, everything slips. And because you messed up one day, you think, whatever, the week's ruined. So you give up. But here's the thing, a week isn't defined by one day. A bad day doesn't cancel out the good ones. It's just that, one bad day. The problem isn't messing up. The problem is using that slip as an excuse to let everything fall apart. Your real commitment to mental order doesn't show up on the easy days. It shows up when everything's upside down. So first, accept that messy days will happen. It's normal. It doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're alive. Second, don't try to fix everything. You don't need to save the whole month. Just focus on one small thing you can do today. Wash the dishes. Take a 15-minute walk, answer that email. And third, before you go to sleep, end the day with this phrase. Write it down in a notebook, or even in a note on your phone. Today I fell, but I'm already back on my feet. It's a reminder, an anchor, a way to remember that you decide how the story continues. So don't give up because of one bad day. That would be like letting a stone keep you from building an entire house. What you're missing isn't willpower, it's simply the reminder that even in chaos, you still have the power to come back. Make yourself organize your mind, even with one small gesture. Because if you don't do it, disorder will take over. And then yes, chaos will reign again. But wait, there's still one last piece. Because none of this will matter unless you do it from a very specific place. I'm warning you now, what's coming isn't easy to accept, but it might just change everything. 12. Organizing your life is respecting yourself. This might sting a little, but I need you to really hear it. Do you know why it's sometimes so hard to organize your life? Because deep down, you don't believe it's worth taking care of. And I'm not saying that to judge you, my friend. I'm saying it because I've been there. Because more people than you think have been there. It's not laziness, it's forgetting your own worth. When you stop prioritizing yourself, chaos becomes the default. You get used to living with a pile of unfinished tasks, messy drawers, scattered schedules. And you tell yourself it's because you don't have time, or energy, or motivation. But the truth goes deeper. You've stopped treating your life like something valuable. Like something that deserves to be organized, nourished, cared for. And if you don't give it that place, no one else will. Marcus Aurelius put it clearly. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. And what you think about yourself isn't always fair. Because when you believe you don't deserve peace or order or structure, what you actually do is let disorder win. You let chaos call the shots. I started seeing things differently the day I stopped thinking of order as productivity. For years, I treated it all like a to-do list, something I had to check off to be more efficient. But one day, exhausted, I stood in front of a sink full of dirty dishes and thought, I'm not doing this just to get it done. I'm doing this because I deserve a clean kitchen, because that space reflects something about me, because if I don't take care of it, who will? That's when I understood that organizing is also a form of self-love, that caring for your surroundings is a way of telling yourself, you matter. As Veronica Bloom said in an interview I heard recently, I tidy up because my peace of mind also deserves a beautiful space. She didn't say it like some Instagram quote. She said it with the calm of someone who's learned to treat herself with respect. You can start today. You don't have to change everything. But you can pick one small space and care for it gently. Your purse, your desk, your fridge. Do it without pressure, without rushing. Do it simply with the intention of telling yourself, I deserve this order. And try this too. Write down a simple affirmation each night. Something like, today I cared for myself by organizing my space. It might feel silly, but believe me, your mind begins to believe what you repeat. And if one day you can't do it, if everything gets messy again, that's okay. Respect isn't measured by perfection, but by consistent intention. My friend, your life can be your work of art, but only if you choose to be its conscious creator. Because chaos won't go away on its own. It needs you to stand up, you to make the call, you to commit. Organizing your life isn't punishment. It's an act of respect for the most important thing you have, yourself. Organizing your life isn't about perfection. It's about respect. About not pushing yourself to the bottom of your own list. About understanding that if you don't take the reins, chaos will. And that disorder, quiet but constant, will end up stealing your clarity, your energy, and even your peace. That's why every choice matters. Every small act of order is a statement about the kind of person you're choosing to become. Because no, order doesn't just show up. You have to build it. With intention, with discipline, and most of all, with commitment to yourself. If you've made it this far, write it down. Drop it in the comments. Today, I force myself to organize my life. That way, I'll know who the true Stoic warriors are who made it to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a like so you don't miss out on what's coming next. I also invite you to check out our playlist, which you'll see on the screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Until next time, take care and keep embracing your inner Stoic.